UCLA is dominating the Big Ten.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. Alongside me is Sophia Jones. I'm Kalia Butler. We have plenty to get into today. There's a lot coming up in women's basketball. There are a lot of games that were just played yesterday. We're going to talk about tonight's slate of games, do a little preview with that. There were some interesting Big 12, Big 10 games yesterday as well, and we're going to go over those. The number one in Big 10 was number 3 UCLA went up against Minnesota. They won 76-58. UCLA stays at the top of the Big Ten. They are 6-0 in conference, 16-1 overall, and 4-0 away, and they're on a 10-game win streak right now. We've talked a little bit before, ever since they had that non-conference game against Texas in which they lost. They have just been on an absolute tear. Everybody is clicking. Everybody is understanding what needs to be done of them. And one of those players doing so is none other than Lauren Betts. She posted her third straight double-double with 17 points and 10 rebounds, just continuing to stay dominant and showcasing her presence on the inside.
Definitely. And we knew how much of a centerpiece Lauren Betts was going to be for UCLA coming into the season, but she's really found her groove recently, specifically in Big Ten play. But one of the primary reasons why I think she's been so comfortable in these last stretch of games is because of the guard play that is also happening on the Bruins. Kiki Rice last night had 25 points. She was 8 of 9, 3 of 3 from field, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. So extremely efficient. And I really like how Kiki Rice has been playing this year. She's really stepped up to her role, become a leader. I think it's helping to have Charlie Sledger-Walker on the squad as well, because Rice can be a bit more off ball. But it's that guard play that is really allowing Lauren Betts to thrive in the interior. Then you have the exterior. Gianna Meatkins has been really solid this season, especially shooting from the three. And last night, that was just fully on showcase because UCLA shot 60% from the field, 39% from the three, and then 90% from the free throw line. So an epitome of just an efficient scoring game for UCLA.
And that's a very tough offensive scoring from inside, outside, free throw line, whatever the case may be. That's really hard to go up against. But also Minnesota came into the game having one of the nation's best defenses. They just came off of a really strong win over USC. But UCLA is, to me right now, this is going to be a controversial statement, but kind of pulling away as almost like a UConn in the Big East. I think UCLA is just incredibly dominant, and every single game you can tell that they are getting stronger and stronger. And I'm very, very happy to see that, what we've seen in the past couple of years from UCLA is that it seemed like their offense only went through Lauren Betts, and there wasn't really other options for them. I think as we've seen the seniority and maturity of this team, she's been able to not only rely on herself and get those double doubles, but as we've talked about, being able to rely on guard play as well. You talk about Kiki Rice having 25 points. They are on a 10-game winning streak. That is impressive for any team to be able to do, and I just don't see them slowing down anytime soon.
I don't either. Then they'll have a really great opportunity to see how much, if at all, they will slow down against Maryland on Sunday. Maryland, a very tough opponent they've shown themselves to be. But like you said, they've just been looking extremely dominant against all Big 12, Big 10 teams, but especially against Minnesota, who is not an opponent to really take lightly at all. Like you mentioned, they were coming off that win against USC. They were feeling really good about themselves, but UCLA just looked like they were a well-oiled machine.
Another game in Big Ten last night. The ranked teams in the Big Ten are staying dominant and continuing their win streaks. Number 14, Ohio State beat Penn State 108-84. So a very comfortable win for them. I think we know that Ohio State has no problem with putting points on the board, largely due to Jaloni Cambridge, who is just absolutely insane. It's not like she's just averaging, just 20-point games. She's been hitting 30 balls, 40 balls, and this is consecutive games doing so. But she had 33 points, leading all scorers. She had great perimeter production. She understands how to create her own jumper. She is just very strong overall. Ohio State made a season high 17 3-pointers. And, not to be blunt, but obviously threes are worth more than two. So once you make 17 in a game, you're kind of finding that separation pretty early on from Penn State.
Yeah, and normally you look at a team and you look at the fact that they shot 36 threes in a game. Even by WNBA standards, that is a very high amount. Last season for the the Golden State Valkyries were the leading in three-point attempts, and they were sitting right above 30. Just to put that in perspective, to the fact that these 36 threes attempted is a crazy amount. But when you make 17 of them and you're equating it to 47%, that is just so impressive and shows a lot of the ball movement as well that Ohio State was able to have. They were really just, the ball was on a string. It looked like the shell drill, like they were just 5-on-0 at certain times, but they had 32 assists on 42 made field goals. So you talk about how great and outstanding Jaloni Cambridge has been playing for Ohio State. She was sharing the wealth. She finished also with 6 assists, 5 rebounds, but the entire team was just putting on an offensive showcase.
Yeah, it was really just a clinic for the Buckeyes, who are just continuing to make movement within the Big Ten. They're currently third in the Big Ten right now, 6-1 in conference play, 16-2 overall. They're on a 5-game win streak. They are just below Iowa and who I mentioned earlier, UCLA. I think they can give both those teams a run for their money as we get a little bit closer to this middle part of the season. But looking ahead for Iowa State and some opponents that they have coming up, on Monday, they are going to have a little Big 12, Big 10 crossover. They're going up against 10th ranked TCU, which is going to be a very interesting challenge for them. We obviously know TCU is Olivia Miles. The TCU is Olivia Miles. She is their main force offensively. Everything kind of flows through her. She gets it done on the defensive side as well. Very curious to see her play going up against Jaloni Cambridge.
Definitely. It will be a battle of the backcourts because we talk about how much Olivia Miles is an all-around game, which we'll get into a little bit in the next segment. But Jaloni Cambridge in this stretch, she's not just scoring. She's also rebounding and having a very high assist rate. On the season, she's averaging 22 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. So she's putting together a really well-rounded resume that I think when you look at going up against Olivia Miles, it's pretty stacked, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's going to be a very exciting one. Penn State will go up against Rutgers on Sunday, and then we get to see that Ohio State TCU game on Monday. But coming up after this, we are going to talk about the Big 12 games that happened last night and just what is going on with Iowa State. I don't know.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LocdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LocdownNBA. That's ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
It's 2026, and if you're still paying rent without Built, it's definitely time for a change. Built is the loyalty program for renters that rewards you for your biggest monthly expense, rent. Rent is not my favorite topic ever. I live in Chicago, and this is an expensive city. I think any major city is an expensive one. So you want to make your life just a little bit easier. And luckily, Built does so. With Built, every rent payment earns you points that can be used towards flights, hotels, Lyft rides, Amazon.com purchases, and so much more. And here's something that I'm really excited about starting in February. So just this upcoming month, Built members can earn points on mortgage payments for the very first time. Soon you'll be able to get rewarded wherever you live and unlock benefits with more than 45,000 restaurants, fitness studios, pharmacies, and other neighborhood partners. Personally, I would like to redeem my points for Amazon because I have a hard time not clicking the checkout button on that. It's simple. Paying rent is better with Built, and soon owning a home will be better with Built too. Earn rewards and get something back wherever you live. Join the loyalty program for renters at joinbuilt.com/lockedonwomen. That's JOINBILT.com/lockedonwomen. Make sure you use our URL so they know that we sent you. Big 12 play yesterday led to an upset for Boulder. I hope Deion Sanders was at least at the game. That would make it a touch more exciting. Number 19, Iowa State goes down to Colorado 68-62. Boulder was playing at home. They must have had the home crowd around them a little bit. They played a tight game, but Colorado surged in the fourth quarter, and a lot of that just came down to some execution standpoints of things, which we've seen Iowa State struggle with a little bit towards their final stretches of the game. Desiree Wooten for Colorado had a season high 24 points and just was an absolute engine for Colorado.
Colorado had a ton of contributions off the bench specifically. They really outscored Iowa State in that department. Their bench points total to be 34 compared to the Cyclones 13. So that depth was a major edge. They had multiple people coming in the game, just upping the intensity. And that was a huge blow to Iowa State, who was already down on some couple key players. Addie Brown suffered, or she hasn't played since the Baylor loss at the beginning of this year, the year being 2026. And it is said that she will be out indefinitely as she continues to recover from a lower body injury. And she was a starter that averaged the most minutes per game for the Cyclones. So that's a major blow. She was in that front court that helped to take a little bit of attention off of Audie Crooks. And same thing for Ariana Jackson, who hasn't played since their Cincinnati loss with a knee injury. She was also a starter that averaged the fourth most minutes per game. So that lack of depth really hurt Iowa State, and just having such crucial players out is, I think, what is causing them to slip in this 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, Iowa State has now dropped in the Big 12 standings. They are much closer to the bottom than they are the top. They're sitting at 12th. They are 2-4, 14-4. 10-2 at home, which they were doing so well in, but they had a 14-game win streak that they had started the season off with. And we saw them have a really strong game against Iowa, which they had that, in-state rivalry. They came away with a win. And ever since that loss to Baylor, it's just kind of been a downhill battle. Baylor is still on top of them within the Big 12. TCU, Texas Tech sitting at the top, being the only undefeated team in the Big 12 right now. But, obviously it's still early in the season, but once you go on a 4-game losing streak, you're going to start dropping in the rankings very quickly. But the big question is, we understand the aspect of having some key players out. I think Addie Brown has definitely been a crucial part of it too, because I feel like she's the next player you look to outside of an Audie Crooks to start producing, especially paint-wise, but she's also very versatile and can stretch the floor for you guys. But what else can be done for this Iowa State team to start getting back in the winning column?
I think you definitely have to prioritize defense, because if you're not getting as much offensive production from these players that are currently missing, you can at least try to hone in on the defensive aspect of the floor, because at the end of the day, if the team opposite of you scores less than you do, you will win. That game could be 25-24, it's still a win. So I think that needs to be the biggest priority. And just really, they have to tap into a lot of grit down this stretch, because their Big 12 schedule is not going to get any easier. They play at Oklahoma State on Sunday. And for a team that had cemented itself at number 10 for the majority of this college basketball season in the AP polls, they're at a serious danger of completely dropping out of the ranks.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, they'll play Oklahoma State Sunday, and Colorado will go to play UCF on Sunday. Another big one, very close game. Number 10 TCU against West Virginia, who, if everybody remembers, has been in and out of the top 25 for some time. But 51-50 victory. TCU hit a buzzer beater 3 for the win. Marta Suarez was a star for TCU. 11 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and Olivia Miles came in with her 14 points herself.
Yeah, this was a untraditionally low-scoring game for TCU. But at the same time, you look on the other end in West Virginia, they only shot 28% and then 12.5% from 3. What really kept them in the game was TCU fouling them and sending them to the free throw line. West Virginia was 19 of 24 from the free throw line compared to TCU's 6 of 6. So a little bit of discrepancy there, but Marta Suarez was the hero of that game, because TCU was down by 2 with 2.8 seconds to go. Inbounding the ball, sideline out of bounds. Marta Suarez steps into the 3, knocks it down as time was expiring. So West Virginia didn't even get the ball back. And Suarez finished the game 1 for 6 on threes. She just made the most important one of that day.
Absolutely. TCU also always finds a way to win, even on off shooting nights for them. And I think that's what is going to continue separating them. We talk about a team that has some fight and some grit and can rely on somebody outside of just Olivia Miles to have that level of offensive production. It doesn't always have to be up to her. TCU is definitely in the talks of that. So big win for them. Definitely a rough, heartbreaking loss for West Virginia, who's trying to climb back into the polls. But another game, number 18, Baylor defeats Utah 61-45. They are cementing some road dominance. This game was played in Salt Lake City. Some standout performances. Talia Scott, leading scorer for Baylor, had 14 points. And then Dariana Little Page Buggs helped and contributed a little bit as well. But it kind of seems like every game that we've seen so far from Baylor, Talia Scott has kind of been the saving grace when it comes to them offensively.
Yeah, and this was probably one of her more inefficient games of the season, but she got enough contributions from other people that scoring margin between her and the next person is a lot closer than what we're used to seeing. But it was really Baylor's defense that helped to carry them this game. They forced 14 turnovers. Utah only shot 26%, 12% from the 3. So that was really the deciding factor. So a good switch for Baylor to really hone in on their defense to get that win.
Baylor will go up against BYU on Saturday. Then they'll play UCF Houston, some games that they should hopefully be able to notch some extra wins on their belt. But we have seen time and time again that an upset is always capable of happening. However, there are some really, really good games going on tonight, and it's going to be between a number 4 Texas and a number 2 South Carolina. So stick with us as we preview that game.
The new year is here, and it's a perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions in every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need for a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for you and your style and budget. As someone that has a little bit of an untraditional job, of course, podcasting from home, I do a lot of work from home. Your home is your sanctuary. I love going on Pinterest and finding different aesthetics that I want to upgrade my home to, and Wayfair just makes it so easy to get all of that. So get organized, refreshed, and back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
All right, the SEC, we've already seen some really exciting games, but this one I feel like is a long-awaited one right now between Texas and South Carolina. Again, Texas ranked at number 4. They have dropped in the standings a little bit after facing their loss to LSU. South Carolina has already lost to Texas this season. However, South Carolina is going to want this one back real bad. So far this season, Texas has shot 52% from the field. They've been very efficient. We've talked about this time and time again. No wasted movement, according to Sophia. Every time I watch the games now, I'm like, no wasted movement. That's what Sophia said. Madison Booker leading that team, averaging 18 points per game. We saw Rory Harmon, who is obviously an elite guard for this team, but we did see her get benched towards the end of LSU's game. And then obviously on South Carolina, they are one of the most top-ranked defensive and offensive SEC just powerhouses overall. But there is some exciting news when it comes to Turnabees.
Yeah, so Dawn Staley confirmed yesterday that Alicia Turnabees, the 6'7" center that joined them from France after the holiday break, will be available to play today. Don't know how much playing time she will see, but the fact that she is available, you never know what might come up when two powerhouses are battling it out.
I think today is definitely going to be a little bit of a battle of the paint. When you think about size, both of these teams are not concerned about that by any means. It's going to be who can establish their dominance in the paint first and who can keep it consistent for a full 40 minutes. It's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to rebounding. But I think, especially for Texas, what we've seen a little bit in that game against LSU is just some ball protection as well. And that's where I'm thinking of if Rory Harmon, I don't think she's going to be benched for today's game. You need Rory Harmon. But she's definitely one of those players that you want on the floor at all time because South Carolina is going to pressure you defensively for that full 40 minutes. You need somebody to take care of the ball and reduce those turnovers.
Yeah, this could be a very physical game in the backcourt, in the front court, just everywhere with both sides going at it. Like you mentioned, Texas got the win earlier in the season, but that was on a neutral site in Las Vegas. Now they're playing in South Carolina, where we know how those crowds get. So I think for the Gamecocks, in order for them to win, they need to lean into that, bring out those dogs on the team. And for Texas, they'll be looking to definitely bounce back. They already have the keys to success. Just need to replicate it and make sure that they're staying composed throughout.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one today. Definitely going to be who's at the top of the SEC after tonight. Can't wait to recap this one tomorrow, but a big ACC game going on tonight as well. Number 9 Louisville will play against number 23 Notre Dame. They will be in South Bend. Notre Dame has been a very efficient offensive team, averaging about 87 points per game. Shooting 49% from the field, 41% from three. However, what we have seen is that lack of depth when it comes to who else can produce besides Hannah Hidalgo. Hannah Hidalgo, obviously the leading scorer for this team. Louisville has shown that they can have multiple points of attack. What does that balance look like when it comes to this game?
Well, for Notre Dame specifically, I think I said it when they won their last game. I don't think there's anything that I can do at this point this season that would really shock me. And it's because when those other players do decide to get involved and everything's clicking on both ends of the floor, they look extremely hard to beat. But with them, I think that depth, of course, a major question. But Hannah Hidalgo specifically, she's going to try to pressure a lot in the backcourt. She's going to try to turn the pace up, which Louisville, I've actually found, leans into that a little bit. They actually like when teams speed them up because it gives them an opportunity to use that momentum against them and just get straight to the basket, it seems like. So it'll be a real push and pull game, if that makes sense, when you think about who's going to be physical and who's going to be pressuring who. But I think for Louisville, if they continue to do what they've been doing, this is going to be their first major test in the ACC. They've already, I think, solidified themselves as the team to beat. And quite frankly, I think Notre Dame could, like I said, Notre Dame can't surprise me this season anymore. So they have a shot in doing so.
Some other quick hitters. Number 25, Illinois is going to be at number 8, Michigan. Number 24, Nebraska at number 15, Michigan State. Sophia, what can we expect from those ones?
Just some very tough Big Ten basketball, I think, for Illinois, Michigan. This is another opportunity for Michigan to get a resume boosting win. We've talked really highly about them on this show. And for Illinois, they have a lot to prove at the same time. They've cracked the rankings. Now it's about maintaining that status and continuing to show why they belong there. As for Nebraska, Michigan State is another team that has really slowly climbed their way up on the rankings. But Nebraska's defense has proven really strong this season. So they're going to have to make sure that they counteract that with a lot of physicality and offensive scoring themselves.
Yeah, it's been some tight competition within the Big Ten. That is why they have 9 teams that are within the AP top 25 right now. Doesn't seem like anybody is touching UCLA just yet, but these games could prove us different. However, that will do it for us today on Locked On Women's Basketball. Thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait to watch these games tonight and recap them with